Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Manny here once again. Welcome back to DFS Zone, your source for daily fantasy sport lineup advice for the NFL, NBA, and MLB. And of course, like always, guys, I appreciate a like on the video. And if you have not subscribed as of yet to the channel, please do so below. And don't forget to turn on those notifications, because if not, you're not going to be able to get my new uploads. With that being said, today is Tuesday, May 15, 2018. We have a one-game slate today. Let's go right back over here to this screen. One-game slate today. Cleveland is at Boston for Game 2. And just to get, first things first, I want to go over a recap of yesterday. I mean, last night, this game was a pretty good game for a while. I mean, it was exciting. It's nice to see Golden State. All the players really were shooting the ball well. Klay Thompson was just fantastic last night. Of course, KD was KD. He took over and he did his thing. So a really nice game by those two guys. I was heavily on Draymond Green, and he was highly owned, which was very surprising. He was more than 70% owned. That definitely damaged me as far as I had him as my MVP for 2 times the points, and he really didn't have the greatest game offensively. Didn't have as many rebounds and assists that he normally does, and so on and so forth. But I finished with my best score. I made 5 lineups for the 100K GPP last night. My best line was 256.11, which 2 nights ago, when the last game the night before, the winner had to put up a 230 something, and he won 100K. So 256 will be enough to win some tournaments here. Unfortunately, it wasn't for last night. I was 18 points below the leader. The winner was I think it was 6 or 7 players that won yesterday as a tie, and the top score was 274.91. And this is the way it went down. Harden, that individual had Harden, which I was not on Harden on any one of my lineups, so that was a bummer for me. But Harden, 110.6 fantasy points in the MVP spot. Paul was in the star position, and he put up 64.05. And then Klay Thompson was in his pro spot, and he put up 48.96. And then he had the utilities Green, 38.3, and Livingston, 13. And that's how he put up 274.91. He was tied with, like I said before, with 6 or 7 other individuals. I think they took down $27,000 apiece. So that's not too shabby at all. I finished with 256.11. Like I said, 18 points under. That was my best score. I did have a 254, a 253, a 252. I cashed on all 4 of those. I didn't cash on my 5th one. My 5th one was a 250, and it wasn't enough. It just missed the cut. I pretty much got my money, I would say, pretty much back. Maybe it took a $4 or $5 loss. I mean, but it is what it is. But 256.11, I happen to have Green as my MVP, and that was the difference. MVP Green, he put up 76.6 with his double times his point. And I had Paul and Thompson just like the winners did. I had the Paul in the star position and Thompson in the pro position. And then the utility, I had Steph Curry, who put up 45.2 fantasy points, which was fantastic. And then I had Iguodala, who came in at 21.3, which was better than Livingston's 13. So I was good there, and I was good with Curry. The only difference was that I didn't use Harden. I used Green at the MVP spot, and that was the difference. Harden put up 110.6 in that spot, while Green gave me 76.6. So, that's pretty much it there. So anyway, let's move on to today. So today, Cleveland at Boston, Game 2. Boston is a 1-point favorite again today, 102.2 implied total for today's game, and Cleveland 101.2. I'm just going to go straight through it right away. Top plays here definitely for Cleveland will be LeBron James. Boston has had 11 big games that have given us to small forwards this year, which I mentioned before in previous videos. LeBron James is still in a good spot here if he happens to make adjustments today. If they made adjustments, maybe he'll have a monster game today. So LeBron James is definitely in play, guys, here in this small one-game slate. J.R. Smith is also another one to watch out for. Boston had their issues with shooting guards during the course of this year. They gave up 12 big games, all sporadically throughout the year. It's not a whole lot of games, but it's still 12 big games, 2 shooting guards. So there's some vulnerability there. And then I will also consider a good play today is also Mr. Thompson, if he can get some more time on the floor. Tristan Thompson is someone to consider here. the Celtics had 9 big games they gave to centers this year. Obviously better caliber centers than Tristan Thompson, but as you can see, was effective in the blowout the other day. So I mean, if he's able to get some time on the floor, he may surprise some people. So definitely someone to consider there. The best possible spots for Boston are Jason Tatum, obviously, like I mentioned before, and I mentioned throughout since I started doing the channel 2.5, 3 months ago. Cleveland has had their issues all year long throughout the whole entire season with small forwards and power forwards. So Tatum is definitely in play today. They have given up 18 big games to small forwards this year, so Jason Tatum is in a good spot. He did play fairly well in Game 1. So he's pretty much been averaging 32 throughout the playoffs, so he's been steady. Marcus Morris is another one in a good spot. I mentioned that also prior to the first video prior to the first game of the playoffs between these two teams, that Morris was in play, and he still is, and he definitely had a fairly good game. Defending especially, he came up big for Boston in Game 1 against LeBron. So Marcus Morris is in play. Cleveland has had 17 big games that they have allowed 2 power forwards this season. Then the next guy who's in line for a good spot is Terry Rozier, who did not play as well in Game 1. I expect him to have a bounce back, and I think he's one that definitely everybody should not sleep on because he has so much upside. He is capable of putting 50, 55 plus in any given game, especially if he is rolling. So I mean, if he's knocking down shots and he is, he's really feeling it, he's going to be very dangerous. So Rozier is definitely in play today. And then you got Al Horford. Also, Cleveland has had their issues with centers, not a whole lot, but they have actually allowed 8 big games against centers this year. And we're talking big games. If you've never been to the channel before, I call those big games 40 to 45 fantasy points or better. So they have had their share there as well. We go right now. Let's go right to the cruncher. I'm going to be honest with you. Right here, there is a total of 33 players on this slate today between the two teams, but I always narrow it down. I have it down to 16. These are the 16 guys that I think everybody should be considering as part of their lineups today. Obviously, maybe a good 10 of these are probably the best bet, but we're going to go over the 16. I'm going to tell you the 16 right now, so this way you can actually see it on the screen. If you pause it, you got LeBron James, Al Horford, you got Terry Rozier, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kevin Love, Marcus Smart, Marcus Morris, George Hill, Tristan Thompson, J.R. Smith, Kyle Korver, Aaron Baines, Jeff Green, Jordan Clarkson, and Rodney Hood. Those are the only guys I think, in my opinion, everybody should be considering. If they're considering anybody, it should be these 16 players. Now, to me, I personally will say right now there's at least maybe only 9 or 10 that I'm really, really concentrating on out of these 16. But I'm going to leave it to you guys by you just, hopefully watching this video long enough to see. These are the 16 guys that I think everybody should be focusing on. At point guard, I definitely have Rozier here and Hill. You can go with one of those two guys, but my preference was Terry Rozier. Like I said, he has tremendous upside. I mean, he is capable of putting up big numbers. He's 50 plus easily. I mean, that's for sure. Tremendous ceiling. So I definitely think that he's someone to consider. He has not played that well. I think he's due. That's just my feeling. I just think he's due. He hasn't shot the ball well, but if he can get himself in rhythm and get himself going and bury some early shots, his confidence will come. The kid is going to feel it, and he's going to just take off from there. And especially if anybody else is being neutralized. If you have a Jason Tatum having a rough go, or even a Jaylen Brown or a Marcus Smart, or even Al Horford, which are the other 3 or 4 options you have there as far as offense. As far as offense is concerned for Boston, you definitely have to consider Terry here. So I like Rozier here. He'll definitely be on some of the lineups. Shooting guard, I definitely think that everybody should consider Brown and Smart for sure. And any low value plays, you definitely will consider. I would prefer J.R. Smith over any of the other 3 Cavaliers. But do not forget that Kyle Korver is very dangerous as well. So I mean, so those are the guys I'm looking at there. I'm not going to go too much through it. Jaylen Brown is averaging 26 through the playoffs, 33 plus over the last few games. So just to give you some numbers there, so he's done well, as you can see here, 33 here, a dud here, but 35, 38. So he's doing 33 plus in 3 out of the last 4 games. Jaylen Brown is definitely feeling a lot better. He's moving better. Definitely someone I really like today. Marcus Smart, as you can see, has the potential to put 33 plus. He had 33 and 37 in 2 out of the last 3 games. He did have that dud game recently on the first game of this playoff of this series, but he shot poorly, 4 of 12 and 1 of 5. So, but the usage rate is still up. Surprisingly, his minutes were down, and obviously it was due to the fact that he was not shooting the ball that well, and Jaylen Brown was. So they utilized Jaylen more, and they didn't use Smart as much. But Smart is a big part of this team, not only offensively, more so defensively. So him, as well as Marcus Morris, are definitely going to key up on LeBron and defend some of these guys. So definitely Marcus is in play here today. You hope that he can get some more steals and turnovers. Those are areas that he's really good at. I like him here. You definitely should consider him in some of your lineups. And then, like I said, if I'm going to choose any one of these Cleveland Cavalier shooting guards, I definitely prefer J.R. Smith. Has the more experience. He is up and down. He's capable of putting 31, as you can see here, 20. He had the 5 dud here. He had almost a 10 under here in the last game. He just wasn't shooting well. When he's not shooting well, 2 of 9 and 0 of 3 from 3, he's not going to get the ball that much. He's not going to get the rock. That's just the way it is. Now, but when he's shooting the ball well, like you see here, 31 fantasy points here, 6 of 11 and 5 of 6 from 3. And then he got the minutes as well, 36. That's what's going to happen. So that's the J.R. Smith we're hoping to have here, and you have to take a risk on with GPPs. All right, so J.R. Smith is definitely in play. We go to small forward. You definitely will consider both of these guys. If you can get them both in your lineup, do that. Jason Tatum has been steady, 32 fantasy points throughout the entire playoffs, and he continues to put up in the 30s. He put almost a 35 spot in the last game against Cleveland. Played 37 minutes. He shot 6 of 11, 2 of 5. I mean, the kid has been really, really good. So you could definitely have him as a core. I would use him more as a utility. You want the GPP guys, at least in my opinion, to be the guys that are capable of giving you 30 plus, but have the upside to give you 40 or more or 50 or more. So he doesn't fit that criteria because he's pretty much in the 30-35 range on a regular, just like Al Horford. So, but these guys would definitely be good guys to put in these lineups. And then, of course, LeBron James. I mean, he's averaging 61 in my stats here, 61 throughout the playoffs. Obviously, he had that poor game the other day, 35. Unlike LeBron, but we know that LeBron makes adjustments. I'm sure the coaching staff has made adjustments. I expect him to come back and try to put up large numbers today. He's definitely going to be in some of my lineups if I could squeeze him in, because his price tag here for this GPP is $20K, so it's quite a bit. So he's going to take a large chunk. That's 2 players right there. But we'll see. We'll work on that in a moment. We'll figure it out. We'll do a couple of lineups for you guys, and then you can take it from there. But LeBron James still definitely in play, guys. Power forward, Love definitely in play. Marcus Morris definitely in play. I'm not too fond of Jeff Green, but he's a sleeper here. He's a sleeper here. He's one of these guys that if he gets himself going as well, he's on the floor, you're going to be able to get at least 20 plus from him. I like Kevin Love here out of all the guys. He put up a 30 spot in the last game. It was a blowout situation, but he shot fairly okay, 5 of 14, didn't shoot well from 3, and that's important, but he did go out and rebound. He got 2 offensive rebounds, which is important. We definitely need those. Those are second chance opportunities for the offense. He had 3 assists. He's okay. He normally gets in that foul trouble early on, 2 or 3 fouls pretty much for the whole game. He's not a fouler, so his defense is okay. He's not the greatest. But Kevin Love is definitely in play here because he is capable of putting 50 plus up there. He hasn't put up 50 in 4 games back. He put a 50 spot, and as we know, he's capable of doing it. So I expect him to at some point. If if LeBron is not able to get going early in this game, and they find Kevin Love and he can shoot down and hit those threes and get in rhythm early, and he go out there and he does all that dirty work that he normally does, all that rebounding, offensive rebounding. I really, really like Kevin Love here today. I think he'll be a fine play here, and he's a great GPP play because of that tremendous upside he has. So don't neglect or don't overlook Kevin Love. Marcus Morris in play as well. As you can see here, 24 plus over the last 4 out of 5 games. His first 30 plus in the last game. He had an awesome game. He shot the rock well. He shot from 3 well. He got to the free throw line. He rebounded, All right, we need to see him, get a little bit more assists. He doesn't turn over the ball well, and of course, most importantly, he defended LeBron James fabulously the other day. He was just fantastic. If he can do that again, he's going to definitely give LeBron a really, really rough game again today. But we'll see. It's going to take a lot for him to do that over and over again for a 7-game series against LeBron James, the greatest basketball player that is probably around right now. He's probably going to be the MVP this season. So a tough, tough task ahead of him tonight. But again, he's definitely in play, guys. He's definitely in play, so it's all a matter of you making those decisions. And at center, Al Horford is my favorite. Do not overlook Aaron Baines. He's been steady. He's averaging 22 over the last 7 games of the playoffs. We'll click there real quickly. As you can see, he had 25, 28, 19, 23. Forget about that dud there, 20. So over these 4, 5, 6 games here, he's averaging 22. You know, and I went with that simply because I look at how much floor time. From here on, he was averaging 21, 22 minutes or better. So he got 29, 21, 23, 19, 25, 25. You know, he got some shots off, and, you know, a lot of his shots are up close. You know, he does all the dirty work. He rebounds. Look at the offensive rebounds, 5 2 games ago. He needs to continue to do stuff like that. He's very physical, which helps, you know, especially in a series like this. You know, get physical with some of these Cavalier guys, and that definitely will help keep the game close and also have an advantage for the Celtics. So Aaron Baines is definitely in play here, and we know that he's a low-value play here. Tristan Thompson, like I mentioned before, could be a sneaky play here. He played in the last game in garbage time, 21 minutes. But as you can see, 21 minutes here, and look, 26 and 35 here in that final game against Indiana and the first game against Toronto, and he put up 31 and 28. I mean, keep him on the floor. Get him involved early like they did here, 4 or 6 from the floor, all those close-up shots. He got 4 offensive rebounds, man. That is critical. Critical. If they give him some time on the floor, 21 minutes or better, Tristan Thompson can get you 25 to 30 fantasy points at his price, which I think is $7,000 for this particular GPP. He's a good play. And you only need him to do that. You only need him to be able to get you that 25-30. If he can get you 25-30, he's a great play. And, of course, Al Horford is the best play here. He is steady. Al is averaging 41 through these playoffs. He put up almost a 40 spot in Game 1. 27 minutes only. He didn't even have to play more than 30 minutes. That's how productive he was. You know what's that? 27 minutes. He put more than 1.25 points per minute on a fantasy point per minute on the floor. I mean, in this particular game. I mean, 8 of 10 from the floor, 2 of 4 from 3. He was over 80% from field goal range and 50% from 3. And then he had 6 assists, only 4 rebounds, which is really surprising. That means he was definitely more open on the floor. And you know him, he's not always under the boards. But, you know, man, I like Al here. He's steady. Definitely wouldn't mind him being in that third spot here, in that pro. I don't know about MVP. He's at 40. Double the points, he'll be at 80. So if he gives you 40, 41, that means you're getting 82 from Al. So you got to look at it like that. But, man, I'd rather have somebody that can definitely take it to a whole nother level there, like Harden did yesterday, who put up 110, like I told you. So, anyway. All right, so let's go right into it, man. Let's just let's put a couple of lineups here so we can wrap up, and we'll take it from there. I mean, so let's go King James, 20,000. He's very hefty. It's a lot of money. I mean, you only got 40,000 left in 4 positions, so you got 10,000 per player. Definitely want to look for another guy that can probably get you value and then some. It has some upside. So here, the next guy I would think would be a good play will be Terry. Terry, 12,000. I mean, that's a good price for him to possibly give you 50. He's got 50-point plus upside. He hasn't been showing it as of late, as you saw. He hasn't looked good in 3 or 4 games, but he is capable of doing it, and that's what's scary about it. So let's put Terry there. Now you got 2 offensive weapon guys that if they come off and they shoot the ball well, the offense is going to revolve around them quite a bit. Now we go to the pro spot, and that pro spot there, like I mentioned before, that would be good for Al, but it's going to be too costly to get Al. You see, put 14, you only got 7,000 left, so now you're taking a big jump here. And 7,000, I mean, man, you're going to have to go all the way down here and take Tristan Thompson and Jordan Clarkson, and I don't think I want to take a risk with just Thompson and Clarkson here in the bottom spot. So we're going to have to forget about Al at the moment, and we're going to have to go with another choice here. And we still have 9-3, somebody here in that 10 range that has good upside. And I wouldn't even go with Jaylen Brown. It's a little hefty there at 12.5, at least for what we have left. So let's go with the best possible option here is taking either Marcus Morris or Smart. Let's put Morris in here due to the fact that they have trouble with power forwards, like I mentioned before. Maybe he may have another 30-plus game like he did the other day. And that leaves us with 87.5. Okay, and now let's go to utility. And now we can go with a guy like J.R. Smith, who has tremendous upside. And then you have 9,500 left. You can go with George Hill or Baines. And I'd be honest with you, I'll just go right with Baines. You know, because I know he's going to give me 20 to 22. I would say 20 plus here. And it still leaves me with 1,500. So, you know, that's just me drawing up a lineup there. I mean, you can change this all around, of course, guys. This is just give you guys an idea, okay? Just give you guys an idea, give you guys an opportunity to look at, you know, to get yourself started with a lineup. So, I mean, that's one lineup. You know, you don't have to go with Baines. You can go easily with George Hill, and you got 500 left, and you hope that George Hill has. But I think the better play here is J.R. Smith and Baines. I know Baines is going to get some time on the floor, and I know he's going to get some shots off as well. So I think he's better. Hill is a good spot too because you just don't know. He's a good GPP play. You don't know if you're going to get just 6 fantasy points in only 15, 20 minutes from him, or you're going to get 30, 35 because he was doing so well in the game that they left him in. That's the drawback. You just don't know, you know. So, but that's what it's all about. You do a lineup like this, and then you say, all right, I'm going to use the same 4 guys, and you know what? The next lineup I'm going to use Smith, Morris, Rozier, and James, and I'm going to throw in this time around. I'm throwing Hill. So you just mix and match like that. It could be just one player that you can change. All right, so let's drop this. Let's keep James there one more time, and let's see if we can choose someone else here. Okay, we chose Rozier before. I still like Rozier there as the best choice for star. But you could take a chance and go with Jaylen Brown and hope he has a 35-40 explosion, and then you get 1.5 to points of that, which will bring you up to about 70 somewhat fantasy points. And then you still got 9,100 left, and you can shoot for I don't know, 9,100. You could go Marcus Smart here or Morris. You can mix it up. You can go Smart. Let's try putting Terry in there. That leaves 77.5. A bit too little left. So let's go Marcus Smart. All right, and then you got 8,700. Then you can come and get Baines. Now you got 3 Celtics again. You got 9,500. You can take J.R. Smith. So you got 3 Boston and 2 Cavaliers. And 2 Cavaliers that can, you know, you never know. I mean, LeBron is going to get some points. I don't think he's going to get 35 fantasy points again. I think he'll be a little higher today, hopefully. If we go with a lineup like this, we want him to hit 60 fantasy points and get 120 out of him with the double. But J.R. Smith is someone that could be very dangerous here. I mean, you know, if he puts up a 25-30 spot, that's big, you know, for the utility play here in the bottom spot here of this lineup. That would be big. Like I got Iguodala, he got me 21 fantasy points last night in that bottom tier, and that's important. So you get something like that, you'll be good to go. All right, let's remove these guys. So that's another lineup you can go to. You can mix match 1 or 2 players there. Let's now switch this up and let's just do let's try a Boston stack, which I always tell you Boston has a little bit more weapons. The far side, you know, in my opinion, they have more offensive weapons. So I wouldn't mind trying. I wouldn't put Hartford at MVP. I would probably prefer to take a chance on. I would go. Let's say we'll go Kevin Love, and the rest of these 4 guys are going to be Celtics. All right, so we got 11-5 left. I will go at this point. I will go with Rozier, and hope he has a monster game. And then at pro, I will probably go with Hartford, and that still leaves 10,000. All right, and then I will probably go to utility. I will go choices. Got Jaylen Brown or Tatum. If we go Tatum, then we got 7,000 left. That will get us Baines. Okay, or not use it all up and go Jaylen Brown and then get Baines. You could go Kyle Korver, Clarkson, Thompson, Larry Nance. Oh, Baines is higher. Hey, Baines is 8. Wow, so I will have to go here with either Kyle Korver, Clarkson, Tristan Thompson. And I would say I will go obviously with Korver, who has the better offensive firepower, if I'm going to go that route. But I really want to have another Celtic here. So, this will have to change. Let's see something. Let's not go with Brown. Let's try Marcus Morris. Now at least 9,500 left, where you can get a Baines or Hill. I will go Baines. So you can do something like that. Rozier, Harford, Morris, and Baines. I mean, the best stack for Boston will probably be Rozier with Tatum and Harford. Something like that. Or Brown, Tatum, and Harford. All right. So if you go that way. So you can have something like this. Or remove this and go with that stack I just mentioned, where I would probably go Rozier at the top. Nope, sorry, wrong spot. Go Rozier here, who has the best upside. Then go with Steady Al here. And then go Jason Tatum. And go with Tatum here. And then you can even still throw in Mr. Brown down below. And that still leaves us 85. And that will have to come out of one of the Cavaliers, which it's a crapshoot. But you know what? J.R. Smith looks perfect for me there. And you don't even have to go with Smith there. You can go with Jeff Green if you feel comfortable with Green. You can go Kyle Korver, who has upside. Yeah, because you can't take another Celtic there. So you got 4 Boston there. You got 4 solid offensive weapons there. The only thing about this lineup, the way we see it, we know some people are going to have that. It's going to be highly owned, but sometimes highly owned does not hurt, because then you make money. You'll make some sort of money. You just have to share it with everybody else. So I mean, so that's a stack there. Let's try one more, and then I'm gonna let you guys go. Let's go. That MVP spot is so important. You really want somebody who's going to go off. Obviously, the best choice there is LeBron James. Other than him, they got Horford and Love at 14 apiece, and they got Tatum after that. I just like guys that are just could be explosive. That's what Rozier. It would be great to have him there. But let's say we go with Love if we're not going to go with James. Excuse me, wrong spot. Kevin Love, and then definitely have Rozier there. And then your third possible option will be Horford, or just going with Tatum and having that young kid hopefully have a big game. Then you go to utility. Like I said, I like the Boston guys. You can go Marcus Morris here. And then you still got 10-5. You can get Marcus Smart here. All right, so there it goes. And then you got Smart, Morris, Tatum, Rozier with Love. So another option is a risky one, but very doable. Kevin Love, like I said before, has tremendous upside. If he could give you 50 plus here in that spot, that's 100 fantasy points. Terry Rozier, if he can give you 50 here tonight, then you're looking at some serious money there. You're looking at about 85 fantasy points. So that's what I'm looking at. And then you got steady guy like Tatum will be good here. And you can always say, hey, I'm going to stay with the steady guys, and I'm going to take the guys that are steady. Guys that I know for a fact are going to give me 40 plus, right? Then you go here. Then you can go and you say, hey, you know what? I'm going to take Harford because he's steady. I get 41, 42 from him. I know I'm going to have 82. I'm going to have 82 here. All right? Then you go to star, and you say, all right, this guy's got to be pretty steady too. Then, well, Jason Tatum has been steady. He's been getting 32, 33 throughout the playoffs. So, there you go. You got 60. You got almost like 60 fantasy points there. And the hope is that these guys go off and they give you a little bit more than what they've been averaging, which would be great. Pro spot. You got 11,000 left. Then you can go there and Rozier. You know what? And you'll be like, hey, you know what? Then you got 3 solid guys there. You go to utility. You got 10,005. As you can see, really much of Cleveland here is all Boston in that price range. You know, after that, Cleveland's guys begin over here with 9,000 for Hill, 8,000 for Smith. You know, so you definitely are going to be in a position where you can say, hey, you know what, I'm going to stick with 3 to at least 4 Boston guys in every lineup. You know, so here the fourth guy here will be, I don't know, 10-5. We can go Smart or Morris. We can go Marcus Smart here, and like again, you could go Smart or Morris. Okay, you can draw that up on paper right now, Smart and Morris, and then you go. You got 11,000 left. Obviously, it's more than there's a lot left over. You're not going to be able to go that high. You can go Hill, Smith, Baines. If you wanted to get closer to value, then you definitely want to get out of that and take Jaylen Brown. You know, and then you got 8,500 left. Now you could take a Cavalier. You could take J.R. Smith there again. You could take Jeff Green. You could take Tristan Thompson at 7,000, which may be a good value play, or even a Kyle Korver. So, you know, you could pull whoever you want there. It's tricky, guys. It's tricky, man. I just figure, hey, you know what? I get on here. I share with you some insight as far as stats are concerned, matchups, possible best plays, possible stackings, and then just draw some stuff up here for the time being. I don't know which lineups I'm going to actually go with, but obviously I already have my head rolling here on a few, and I'm sharing some of these with you guys. So, you know, whatever you guys think, you work it. I mean, it's tough to do these one-game slates with only a 5-player lineup, but I like this MVP, Star, and Pro format. It definitely gives people the opportunity. As like I said before, 2 nights ago, somebody won the 100K for themselves. Last night it was a 6-7 player tie for 27,000. So if they didn't make these changes the way the points are spread out among the players here during the course of these fantasy games, it's you will still have like 100, 150 people tied for first and only getting $200 or $300, or maybe even less than that, which that's what I saw in the first 2 times I played this. So this is going to give people an opportunity to at least walk away with a few $1,000s, or maybe even 100K, or like last night, 6-7 people shared 27,000 and change each, which I would not have no problem whatsoever with that. I'm sure you guys wouldn't either. So that's basically it, man. I mean, best, again, like I said, so I would say team stacks, definitely focus on James and Love. Stacking for the Celtics, I mean, Tatum and Brown is a good stack. Tatum with Horford is a good stack. Brown with Horford is a good stack. And then, of course, they have the most steadiest guys the Boston Celtics have is Tatum right now, and Al Horford. So those guys are pretty steady. Those are definitely good guys to have in a cash game. And everybody else is still good GPP play. Triple stacks, definitely I like Brown with Tatum and Horford, or Rozier with Brown and Horford would be good too. So something like that. So again, I'm favoring the Celtic guys, players as far as offenses. So I'm targeting those guys more. I think that's what you guys should be definitely focusing your attention to. That's basically it, guys. Hey, man, you know, drop a like on the video. I truly would appreciate it. I appreciate all the people that have been subscribing to the channel. It's relatively new. It's only a couple months, and you know what, man, I mean, you know, I'm excited. You know, I'm doing something I enjoy doing. I love talking about sports, and I love sharing it with other people. So I mean, you know, whatever I can do to help anybody out, I'll try to do. I love, like I said, as soon as the NBA is over, I plan to do MLB, of course. Got the NFL coming up in September. Of course, I look forward to that. That's going to be great. And then, of course, we got the NBA again in October. So it's going to be a great, long, good season of me helping everybody out, as many people as I can, with fantasy lineups in all 3 of those sports. And I actually do follow a little bit the WNBA. I never really actually played DFS WNBA, so there may be a possibility that I may do some videos on that as well. So I'm going to try to stay very busy, try to keep giving you guys as much help as possible. I mean, any input that anybody, you know, you have any recommendations, suggestions. I know one of the recommendations is to make the videos a little shorter, which I'm trying to do, but I can yap my ass off, you know, so you got to forgive me there. But yeah, just comment down below. Let me know, and so on and so forth. But again, I appreciate the support. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate all the likes, and I appreciate all of you that have subscribed. Continue subscribing, and And that's basically it, guys, man. Enjoy tonight's game. Hopefully we'll all make some money. I'm going to start working on my lineups right now, right after I close this video out. And I wish you guys the very best. Make sure that you work on those lineups, make multiple lineups. Try to have at least a core 3 players, maybe even go 4-1. And I think that the target should be more so Celtic players. Definitely utilize 1 or 2 Cav players. And that's basically it. That should be the strategy today. All right, guys? God bless. Good luck tonight, and I'll speak to you guys tomorrow. Your boy Manny is out.